Cutting the cord. How to emotionally and energetically exit the cycle. Welcome back to the Family Roles series inside School of Soul. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and in this episode, we're giving you a tactical, no-nonsense guide to one of the most misunderstood and mismanaged parts of healing from narcissistic abuse: cutting the cord. Cutting the cord isn't just about going no contact. It's about removing emotional, energetic, and psychological access from people who have trained you to feel responsible for their emotions, guilty for your growth, and obligated to keep the relationship going, regardless of how much it costs you. If you've already reduced contact, limited conversations, or physically distanced yourself, but you still feel emotionally drained, confused, or hijacked by guilt, you haven't cut the cord. You've just put the cord on silent mode, and it's still draining you in the background. Let's be clear about what the cord is. The cord is any remaining emotional channel that keeps you tied to the narcissistic person's reactions, needs, approval, disapproval, or guilt. It's the part of you that still mentally explains yourself when they're not in the room. The part that still anticipates their judgment before you make a decision. The part that still thinks you owe them something because you were taught that walking away is betrayal. The goal of this episode is to give you an exact method to exit that system, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, not just behaviorally. Step 1. Understand what partial contact still costs you. Many people stay in this gray zone: reduced contact, limited texts, holidays, only thinking it's a compromise. But narcissistic systems don't honor partial boundaries. They wait, they probe, they look for cracks. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to reassert control. You think you're managing the relationship. What you're actually doing is keeping the cord open just enough to stay drained. Partial contact still costs you your energy. It keeps your nervous system braced. It keeps you checking your tone, preparing your responses, censoring your success. It's the equivalent of locking your door, but leaving the window cracked. You're technically safe, but the breach is still there. If you notice that every brief exchange leaves you exhausted, agitated, or emotionally confused, that's not accidental. That's what we call a re-entry loop. You leave the interaction feeling like you just lost ground even if nothing explosive was said. That's because their presence, even in small doses, reactivates your emotional programming. Step 2. Decide whether low contact is actually low enough. Some relationships can be managed with distance. Narcissistic ones usually can't. These are not systems built on mutual respect. They're built on power balance. And as long as you are available at any level, you're still inside the architecture. If you've gone low contact and still find yourself explaining your choices, monitoring their mood, or adjusting your behavior to avoid guilt, it's time to ask the real question. Am I protecting my peace or preserving the illusion? There's no universal rule. But here are your markers that low contact is not low enough. You still feel anxiety before or after every message. You delay your own decisions out of fear of how they'll react. You think about what they might say if they knew what you're doing. You experience guilt spikes during moments of rest or success. If any of these are true, low contact is not working. It's just disguising the attachment. Step 3. Reclaim your energetic and emotional field. This is not just symbolic language, it's functional. Your field includes your thoughts, your attention, your emotional regulation, and your physical vitality. Narcissistic family systems don't need full contact to invade that field. They only need your internal permission. That's why cord cutting starts inside, not outside. It starts with identifying where your energy is still leaking. Where are you still monitoring them? Where are you still arguing with them in your head? Where are you still defending your life choices to people who don't respect them? If you're doing any of that, they still have access. And until that access is revoked, they will continue to extract from you, even silently. Now let's talk practical reinforcement. One of the fastest ways to clean your field is what we call mirror work. This isn't spiritual fluff. It's mental retraining. Stand in front of a mirror and speak direct declarations. This rewires your nervous system to associate your own reflection with self-authority, not parental surveillance. Use phrases like, "This is my field. I decide who enters. I do not owe access to people who feed off my energy. I revoke emotional contracts that were built on fear and guilt. Their disappointment is not my burden." Repeat this daily. Not because the words are magical, but because repetition reprograms your internal state. You are rebuilding the part of you that was trained to fear autonomy. Next, use field checks. These are daily or weekly scans to make sure your mental and emotional boundaries are intact. Ask yourself, did I spend time today thinking about how someone would react to my decision? Did I feel the need to explain something I already chose? Did I give energy to someone I've already decided to walk away from? If yes, pause. Re-anchor. Say out loud, that cord is closed, that access is revoked. Cord cutting is not a single event. It's a consistent maintenance process, especially when the narcissist is a parent, especially when the system was family-wide. You have to check your field like you check your locks. It's not paranoia, it's emotional security. Step 4. Establish no-exception boundaries. Narcissistic family systems test you in 3 specific ways: crisis sentimentality, third-party guilt. You get a call about a health issue, a birthday reminder, a message from a cousin saying they just want to talk. These are not neutral. These are pressure points. And unless you've already decided what to do in those scenarios, your boundary will fold. So plan now. What's your response when someone delivers a crisis? When someone says they miss you? When a sibling tells you to be the bigger person? Script it, write it, practice it. And when it happens, act without hesitation. Your boundaries are not up for debate. Finally, let's be honest about why this is hard. You were trained to believe that cutting the cord is cruel. That distance means failure. That silence means punishment. That you're responsible for how they feel about your healing. None of that is true. Cutting the cord is what ends the cycle. It's what allows you to feel your emotions without asking permission. It's what makes your energy available for things that give back instead of drain. It's what finally allows you to build a self that isn't designed to protect someone else's ego. You don't need a dramatic confrontation. You don't need to announce your exit. You don't need to justify it. You just need to stop participating in systems that rely on your silence to survive. So here's your framework. Audit for emotional leaks. Identify failed low-contact strategies. Reinforce field daily. Close psychic and emotional access. Build scripts for pressure points. Practice until peace becomes familiar, not foreign. You're not being extreme. You're breaking a contract you never agreed to. That's not betrayal. That's freedom. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and what you just watched is part of my signature program, the Chosen One series inside School of Soul. This series is not just a course, it's a blueprint for those who know they were different from the start. The black sheep, the scapegoat, the truth teller, the cycle breaker. Inside, you'll discover the family roles playbook, the golden child, the scapegoat, the enabler, the lost child, and how to finally step out of the part you were cast in without consent. How the black sheep becomes the goat, turning rejection into radical transformation and leadership. How to break generational curses and rewrite ancestral contracts so the pain stops with you. And how to recognize and escape modern forms of spiritual and technological targeting, from gang stalking to synthetic synchronicity. This isn't just about survival. It's about awakening, about reclaiming your voice, your lineage, and your destiny as one of the chosen ones. Click the link below to access the full series now, because the role ends the moment you decide it does, and the real script begins with you.